Yeah. What's up, guys? So, mostly I'm saying this for the replay because there's going to be a few before anybody actually clicks on here. But I am hanging out, about to go to the Rocky Horror Picture Show screening in downtown Sacramento, or I should say more South Sac. But anyway, like the Oak Park area. So I'm excited about that. But I got like an hour to kill. So I just figured I would go live and talk to you guys a little bit. What's up, Cooking with Dickie? What's up, Darth? See, you should be able to see the marquee back there. What's up, Brian? See, check it out. See, there's the marquee. And it's at the old Colonial Theater in the Oak Park area. My art studio that I used to have down here is just like a couple blocks away. Feels weird being back down here. I haven't been back down here since 2020, because that was when I had to give up my art studio. So kind of a bummer, but it worked out great because now I got this channel. So I started all this. I'm seeing Rocky Horror Picture Show. They're doing a special screening. It's like, I forget who, I want to say the producer of the movie or the director. Someone that was involved in the movie is presenting it. So it's like a pretty cool thing. It costs like $30 to go, but I'm looking forward to it. They're doing a bunch of cosplay, and there's going to be like an after party and stuff like that. But I got like an hour to kill because I saw 7:30 on the thing, but I guess 7:30 was for the VIPs, and I'm not a VIP. I don't want to spend the extra, like, I don't know, $30 or something like that. You get like a bag of goodies to throw at the screen and stuff, I think, because that's kind of the Rocky Horror Picture way. But I don't got the kind of money to do that, so I just stuck with the regular admission. But I guess regular admission is not till 8:30, so I got like an hour. I'm downtown in Oak Park, like near downtown Sacramento at the Colonial Theater, about to go see Rocky Horror Picture Show. Well, I got like an hour, and then I'm going to see Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's cool. I haven't been to a screening of Rocky Horror Picture Show like since I was, I don't know, maybe early 20s. We used to have this dollar theater called Birdcage. Called Birdcage that would do like the couple dollar movies, and they used to do the Rocky Horror midnight screenings. They were so much fun. But a lot of the midnight screening stuff doesn't go on anymore. It's kind of a done thing. So there's the line. It's starting to get a little bit of a line going. But that's all for the special people. Kind of spilling out on the road though. Someone's gonna get hit. But yeah, see, there's a bit of a line starting to form. But I'm trying to not zoom in on everybody because it's a little rude, like without asking permission. I'm glad not everybody's dressed up in cosplay though, because I was kind of worried about that. Because like in the email, I didn't know this when I got the ticket, but in the email it's like, we strongly encourage cosplay. I'm like, shit, I don't have any costume. Plus I don't really dress up for stuff. Look at this mural, guys. Look how sick that mural is. Goes that entire building. It's so dope. My ex has a couple murals down here. I've worked on a couple murals down here. It used to kind of feel like home down here. It's just weird not being down here much anymore. Like, I was thinking about it. I don't think I've been here on here since 2020, since I had to move out of my studio. So what are you guys all up to tonight? But yeah, look at how amazing this is. Look at those lips. Like, they're huge, but they're so detailed. Like, even up close, they look good. Look at that. But since we're hanging out, do you guys got any questions for me? Oh, Brian, I'm just glad I can help. That means a lot, man. I love Nightbreed. Clive Barker is like one of my favorite filmmakers. When I recently did a video talking about my favorite directors, I actually included Clive Barker, even though he only directed 4 films. To me, all 4 of the movies he did, including Nightbreed, were just amazing. And then on top of that, he wrote a bunch of other ones that are amazing. Yeah, I hear that. That's part of the reason why I came out tonight, because I don't want to be sitting at home in pain. It fucking blows. Like, when you're in chronic pain, it's fucking miserable. Yeah, I think I did put John Carpenter as my number 1, but yeah, Carpenter was my number 1. I'm trying to remember who I put 2. I think I might have put Wes Craven at 2. Yeah, I have been struggling to sleep too. At least I got a little bit of sleep though. Look at this. Some jackass. Parked right behind. How do they think that you would get out of there?
Hey. Well, do what you gotta do. Yep. They want pizza, they can drive over the pizza place.
True.
Why don't they park here and walk a block to a pizza place?
Well, it's the parking near the pizza place. I'm thinking of I forget the name of it, but it's like literally like.
Yeah, that's just ridiculous. Fucking rude ass people. Yeah, drama. They've been looking everywhere trying to. Oh yeah, Cronenberg was my number 2, I think, and then Wes Craven 3. I don't know. Toby Hooper was up there. I forget. Do you think Rocky Horror can be rebooted, or should it be left alone? I think they did do a reboot not too long ago, and I mean, you can reboot anything. I don't have a problem with you people rebooting shit. Question is, can you reboot it and make it worth a damn? And I don't really think you could with Rocky Horror Picture Show. Like, it's just one of those movies that's a product of its time. You know, any other, like now, there's too many things I think that would be, you know, controversial, and they would try to like they wouldn't go hard enough with it, or they'd go too hard with it. Like the balance, I don't think would be there. You know, and then I don't know. I don't know who the actors would be that could really play those iconic roles. I think it's something that works better on Broadway as a musical than it does a movie, you know? And so I think, you know, that's why you see people doing it as, you know, Broadway musical, but not as a movie. I'm just trying to get in my hobbling steps. I've been trying to do 6,000 steps a day, and with wearing a boot, like, see, I'm wearing my foot boot. It is not easy. Seems like it'd be easy, but it's not, walking around on a boot. Not that much. Because Rob Zombie loves the Munsters, and he wanted to do his own version of it. I had no problem with him doing it. I didn't think the movie was as horrible as some people, but, you know, I didn't think it was great either. But I never understand the logic of, oh, it ruined it. No, it didn't ruin anything. The original Munsters is still the Munsters. It, like, didn't change anything about the Munsters. You know, no matter how bad his version could have been, it wouldn't do anything to the original Munsters. So that's why I have no problem when people do reboots. you know, you gotta still, if it's a shit movie, it's still a shitty movie. You know, I think Rob Zombie's Monsters would have been a lot better if they had done it in black and white, like Rob Zombie had wanted, because he wanted the whole movie to be done in black and white, and the production company was like, no, or Netflix was like, no, we, you know, want. And there was a few other things, I forget, but there was a few other things that they stepped in, decisions they made that I think would have been better if, you know, they didn't. But it's like always that way. Studios always meddle with shit. I think Timothée Chalamet could do anything. You know, like he's one of those people, you could put him in pretty much any role, and he's like a chameleon. He's just so good. Yeah, I've been on and off in a stupid boot like this for years now. Like this is the third out of the last 4 summers that I've spent the entire summer in a fucking boot. It's like I keep having problems with my left foot. Like they tried to save the big toe, and they eventually ended up having to amputate the big toe. And then it's like, oh, cool, you amputated the big toe. Now I can walk again, and now it's fucking with me again. So, and the doctor's like, well, if we just, you know, if we cut more off, like, it's not going to make much difference. You know, every time we cut parts off, it's just going to have another issue somewhere else. So that's why diabetics end up losing their entire foot. Like, they just basically cut all off the, like, pieces of it little by little until it's gone. But, so that's why I'm wearing the boot, because rather than cutting things off at this point, as long as it's not, you know, like bone infection, we're not going to cut things off. We're just going to wear a boot until it heals all the way, and then I'll be able to walk around again normal. Look, I got these little pins I made of the Ghost Pirate eye. I bought one of those pin stomper things, and so I made all these little pins, but I don't have anything to do with them. Yeah, George Lucas doesn't have the passion, the vibrant nature you need to have as a filmmaker anymore to make a horror movie. To make a good horror movie, you got to be like hungry. You got to have a desire to make horror and to like make a interesting movie. And like George Lucas is just, him and Steven Spielberg, like their passion is, they're retired, man. They're basically done. Like they don't have a lot of passion left for filmmaking. They've done it all, you know, that they wanted to do. So, you know, like I always understand people wanting to see legends do one last thing, but it's like there's a point when you just got to realize they already did their one last thing, and it's time to just focus on the young talent, the people that are changing the face of horror right now and the face of movies. Thank you so much for your donation, Cal. Yeah, and it's not like there's any fault of their own. Like, you know, and that's the other thing. When you look at someone like Steven Spielberg or whatever, and you're like, oh, they don't have any passion anymore. It's like, dude, of course not. Like, you know, the guy's been making movies forever. He had passion when he did Jaws. Like, he's done so much. You know, he's been involved in so many things. Like, and that's why James Cameron, why all he's making is the Avatar movies. And as annoying as it is, because I'm like, I don't care about Avatar movies. I'd rather see him, you know, make some other fucking movies. Like, I'd love to see him do another horror movie or sci-fi movie or something. But, you know, he's got to go with what he's passionate at. He's done it all. He's made more money than he'll ever be able to spend. And he's done everything there is to do. And so now it's like, he just has got to stick with whatever he's passionate about. And unfortunately, the only thing he's passionate about is this Avatar universe. So, which I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of the last one. I was pretty bored, to be honest. Like, it's beautiful, but it's kind of like looking at a beautiful painting. I can only look at a beautiful painting for so long. I can't sit there and stare at a beautiful painting for 3 hours. No matter how beautiful it is, I can't. Yeah, I personally love A24 movies, but I get that they're not for everyone, but it's rare that I don't enjoy at least something about every single A24 movie on some level. Like, they're not all as good as some are better than others or whatever, but I think they're all, interesting on some level, because they only take hungry artists that are trying to make film, trying to make something that's breaking the mold, and they take chances. It's one, like, Blumhouse is starting to bum me out a little, because it feels like they're not taking chances anymore. Yep, I've been living in Sac since I was a little kid. Like, I lived in San Diego till I was like, on and off basically till I was like 8, I think. I don't know. And then I moved up here, and I've lived here for the most part ever since. I've lived a few other places for a small amount of time, but yeah, my studio used to be right down here in Oak Park, like literally like 2 blocks that way. Thank you so much, John Wolf. That's huge, man. I really appreciate your support. Every single penny helps. Like, even if you can only afford $1, man. Like, I don't care if anybody donates anything. Like, it's your guys, it's your money. Like, you do what you want. I'm not ever, like, I don't like the idea of asking you guys for money. but every penny that you guys put towards me, it really goes right back into the channel, because it's my whole life. It's all I do. I think about the channel. I work on the channel. I promote the channel. I'm watching movies, thinking about the channel, watching TV series, thinking about the channel, like watching other YouTube channels, trying to figure out how they do certain editing things. So, I mean, it's my whole world. So, but when you guys donate something, it goes right back to it, and it helps a ton. Like, I'm just barely starting to be able to survive. Like, I got that sponsor, and so now I was able to actually pay rent. Well, as long as I get the check from them, I'm supposed to get the check within the next week, I'll finally be able to pay rent. I still won't have much money for food, but I'll at least be able to pay rent this month. I told you it was Haunting of Hell House, when in fact it was actually Legend of Hell House. You talking about Hill House? Oh, Hell House, yeah. I think I've seen both those, because that's the sequel, right? Or no, I'm thinking of Hell House LLC. So maybe I haven't seen Haunting of Hell House. Just watched the Hollywood Dreams and Nightmares, the Robert Englund story. Yeah, see, I'm pretty sure I watched that one. Oh, Val, thank you so much for your donation. That's awesome, man. I really appreciate that. Celebrate the first chat from Val. 3 remakes. What has 3 remakes? Love Old Town Sac. Yeah, I like Old Town. I personally prefer like more of the outskirts areas and stuff, but I do like K Street area some. It's gotten some better. Mostly I like Midtown though. Like if I'm gonna be downtown doing anything, it's generally in the Midtown area. But unfortunately it's getting more and more expensive and harder for the artist to survive, and that's my family. Like, you know, the artists of Sacramento. That's where I've spent most of my adult life when in music, and then doing physical medium art, and now doing the YouTube channel. Oh, it's a classic old movie. Yeah, I'd love to do an old movie. We need to do, I want to do a stream here. Oh, it's got Roddy McDowell. I want to do a stream here on the channel so that everybody can watch the movie with us. But it has to be a public domain movie. So I got to figure out some good public domain movies. Oh, Leslie, you're too kind. Thank you so much for your donation. Yeah, hopefully I'll have fun tonight. I feel very weird because I don't really know anybody here. Like, at a lot, like some of the events I know people, but this is like, I didn't know ahead of time, but this is like Pride Month event thing, which is awesome. Like, I don't regret coming, but it's just not really a lot of the people I know, because I think it's more of the Pride crowd, maybe. I don't know. I haven't noticed anyone I recognize yet. But I also spend all my time, for the most part, in my room. Like, I don't really have a lot of friends anymore. It's weird, because when I was in music, I had tons of friends, and when I did my art, tons of friends. But I'm trying to get into some kind of community for the horror movie world and stuff. So that's why Sinister Creature Con was cool, because it was just like everybody in town was there. Yeah, actually, Night of the Living Dead isn't public domain anymore, I don't think. I don't know how that works, because they finally got a copyright thing with it so that they could finally make money from it. But I don't know if it's still public domain or not. I mean, I guess it probably is still public domain. Yeah, it is. It's just, I don't know, man. Because I'm not someone that has a problem going up to strangers. Like, I'll give up to anybody. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, but it's just finding people that have things in common with me. So, but that's why I'm just putting myself out here. Like, the next event, I think I'll feel more comfortable at, because that's the Killer Clowns one that's got a bunch of the people from the movie and involved in the movie there and stuff. So that event in like 2 weeks is gonna be a lot cooler. Like, it's here again, same place. But my goal is to try to make some more connections and have a little more of a circle of people here before October, so that come October I can maybe work with some other local creators and stuff, because I know there's, you know, I'm not the only YouTuber in Sacramento. So, like, I know there's one other horror creator that's got a pretty big following. She's got like 200,000 subscribers. She doesn't get a lot more views than I do, but she has like over 200,000 subscribers. But her name's I forget the name of her channel, but anyway, I know her name, but I'm not gonna say her name. But I haven't really had much contact with her yet. I've talked to her, you know, like text or on Twitter a little bit, but that's it. But she's like me; she doesn't go out and do anything either. So. Yeah, that's what I've been thinking about, is trying to do some of those. Like, there's that tour where you can do the underground in Sacramento. Yeah, Possessed by Horror is who I was thinking of, yeah. Like, I really enjoy her channel. But like I said, she doesn't go out, and she just stays at home with her husband and baby, and, you know. But I like her. She's very opinionated. I don't agree with a lot of her takes on movies, but I like that she has very strong opinions. You know, I personally would rather be the guy that likes everything and can get along with everybody. I haven't really had any communication with Spooky Astronaut. I've tried to message her a few times, but she doesn't reply. But I don't know. I'm not a huge collab guy either, because like I thought about doing something with Bloodbath and Beyond, because he's a pretty good friend of mine and got a pretty big platform. So I've talked to him some. We might do something at some point, but I don't know, like unless I can do something in person, like that's the kind of collab I would like to do, because I want to travel, and then as well as here locally, like I want to, do things with people in person. You know what I mean? Like go to, like I had someone comment the other day, and I love the idea of doing like a Ouija board, like live, where we have a Ouija board, and it's like me, who's kind of an atheist. I'm not really. I'm kind of agnostic atheist, somewhere in there, I guess. Thank you so much, Robert. My parents, Clark, and my partner, Clark, and I found your channel over 2 months ago. Keep up the great videos. Sending positive vibes from Portland. I really appreciate it, man. I'm so glad that I'm able to be helpful and help you find movies. Like, that never gets old to hear. Like, it's funny. I hear that a lot, but that's the whole mission of this channel. The whole mission I have is to help people, so I love it. But yeah, like that, Portland, right? Like my goal is to eventually be able to go out to Portland and see what horror there is there. Go to the local horror locations, go to, like haunted houses or whatever there is horror wise, go check all that out. So that's my goal eventually, is travel all over the country, and then maybe even travel outside of the country into other countries. Like I have a friend in England, and I've talked to him a few times about one of these days flying over there and hanging out with him. He lives right by Nottingham, like where Robin Hood. Oh, I got the hiccups. Where Robin Hood takes place. He actually, it's a real place, and he lives Sherwood Forest. He actually lives right there. Yeah, see, Harlem, New York. I'd love to travel there someday and see what horror there is there. Meet some people, wherever, like everywhere. Like go to different conventions. Man, the weather is perfect here right now. Yeah, it's just about money, Artemis. Like I just gotta have, I gotta get to where I can financially travel, like, at least have money for airfare, and then food. Even if I have someone's couch I can crash on, I still need to make sure I have, money for food and travel or whatever. So I don't think it'll be that far off. Like my goal is to start doing little stuff this year. Like I'd love to in October go down to Southern California and go to, for the first time, go to the, oh, there's a motorcycle. Go down there and, well, Leslie, yeah, we talked about, Leslie talked about maybe me flying down there and hanging out with her for a minute and going to, thank you, Robert. We just had our horror film festival in Portland. Yeah, see, that's what I mean. Like, I've talked to Cecil Laird from the horror show about going to the Phoenix Film Festival one of these years, and like, but you got to start somewhere. So this year, the goal is to travel down to like Southern California and go to like Universal Studios Haunted. They're I'm spacing on what it's called, but their horror night, their haunted house thing, and different things like that. But even if I can't afford to go anywhere, yeah, the Hollywood Horror Nights, I'm still gonna take you guys to at least whatever I can here, because there's not a ton here, but there's definitely some stuff. Like last year I went to Six Flags to their Friday night, or yeah, is it called Friday night? Yeah, Friday night. And it wasn't the greatest, but it was still fun. Yeah, I'm down to go wherever. Like wherever there is people that enjoy the channel and spooky stuff, I am down. So it would be really cool, like when I get to a point where every year I like almost like a tour, I book it all out and I post it up and say, hey guys, I'm going to be at this convention. I'm going to do a meet and greet at this bookstore in this city. We're all going to get together at this one cemetery at midnight and dance naked in the pale moonlight. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that would be dope. I took my sons to Halloween Horror Nights last year and it was fun. Yeah, I've watched The Dead Meat. He always films it and I just want so bad to go to that. And then Dr. Wolfula, he lives by the one in Florida and he goes to it every year and talks about it. It's on my bucket list because I love haunted houses. Haunted houses are some of my favorite thing in the world. Like, you know, beyond horror movies, my next favorite horror type of thing is haunted houses. Yeah, there's some like crazy haunted things I'd love to go to. Like there's those ones where like in the Midwest and stuff where they just have like a giant field and they turn it into a crazy big old haunted house with tons of teenagers and crazy shit. Like what's that documentary? Is it Screamers? Yeah, it's like Screamers or something like that. Oh, wow, Shauna, thank you so much for your donation. That's awesome. Thank you. And I appreciate you supporting the channel. Like, it's because of you guys that I can do this. It's because of you guys that I can fully say I'm a full-time creator. Like, I am still poor. My diet mostly consists of peanut butter and jelly sandwich and mac and cheese, top ramen. But I can proudly say I am a full-time creator. And like when you tell people that, people are always just like, what, really? And I'm like, people are always like, but you're not even that big. I'm like, no, you don't understand. It's about the support that your community gives you and about, you know, like, because I get more views than a lot of channels that are like 100,000 or more subscribers because you guys are awesome. You guys support like just about every video, you know, and it's unfortunately when a video doesn't do well, it's 9 times out of 10 it's YouTube's fault because they don't show anybody. It's 7:39 here, so West Coast, so I'm guessing you're on the East Coast. Yeah, I'm in downtown-ish Sacramento. It's called Oak Park. It's kind of adjacent to downtown Sac, but this is a giant mural on the side of the Colonial Theater. It's beautiful. Man, I've been coming to this place forever. I remember seeing Papa Roach. I did security here when I was like 17, or no, like 18, 19, something like that. I worked security. There used to be an entrance right on the side over here where the bands could load all their equipment. I played on the stage in there. I've watched Deftones play here, Papa Roach play here, Korn play here. Like all the who's who of like 90s hard rock and metal bands I've seen play here. And now they don't really do concerts, but they do like these movie nights and stuff, and they're finally starting to do some stuff again, which is pretty awesome because for the longest time they didn't do anything. This place was just like abandoned for a long ass time, but they were having a lot of problems with cars getting broken into and things like that, so less and less people would come to events here, and it just kind of building up. But this whole area has gotten better and better and better. The people have worked really hard to try to make this community a place that you're not in danger of being. Man, the line is getting long. Look, it's all the way out to here now. Look at that. I'm just so stoked that this many people are showing up to the Rocky Horror Night. Look at this. And like a lot of people already went inside. Like, that's awesome. Hey, look at that. My thing is finally working. It's holding the weight of my phone and the microphone. I don't know why last time I couldn't for the life of me to get it to hold it. Oh, really? You know Marilyn Manson? I remember seeing Marilyn Manson on their first tour with 9 Inch Nails. It was like one of the first shows they did on that tour as well. Jeez. Someone just set off like an M80 or something like that. Some kind of firework. John Wolf, you really remind me of myself, because like you have one hell of a story, like your life. You've been through some shit. Like, I know the feeling. I don't know if I've been through as much crazy shit as you, because you sound like you've definitely been through it, but I've definitely seen and been through some shit. But everybody's got a story to tell. Everybody's got something unique. I've thought about ghostwriting a book. I'm really shitty at writing. Like, I can't write to save my life. Like, the only thing I've ever been able to write is poetry. Because I was the singer of a metal band for a long, long time. So I wrote lyrics, like pages and pages and pages of lyrics. But as far as like my sister's the writer. She's the published author, has like 30 books or something like that. Are you talking about like skywalks, like kind of similar to what they have in Vegas, where it's like all the buildings are connected by those bridges? Or, because I'm not sure what a skywalk is. I love that about Vegas. Like, no matter how hot it is, it's cool. You can just stay inside. So look at this, man. We got a party about to go down. He's already dressed for the occasion. I love it. It's fucking awesome. I do feel kind of a little bit like a weirdo, though, because a lot of these people are a lot more fun people than I am. Like, I'm not super fun. Like, I'm not the dancing and singing type. Yeah, I'm not doing the time warp. But I wanted to be a part of the celebrating Pride Month and celebrating freedom and a fun movie like this. And this is like supporting this thing that they're doing, which is lovehorrormovies.com, and they're doing all these different horror events. I think it's lovehorrorevents.com, and I'm a huge fan of that. And so they got all these events, and so I was talking to one of the people involved with it at Sinister Creature Con, and so I told her I would definitely be here because I'm all about supporting local movements and stuff. A resin project. I love resin. I used to work in resin. It's like the coolest material. It's really hard to work with, but I love it. It's amazing. Hello, Jaeger. Let's do the time warp again. Thank you, Robert. Yeah, I just try to be me. I don't. When I was younger, I tried to be like a hard ass and try to be something I wasn't. And then when I got older, I realized like how uncool that is. Like it's the most uncool thing in the world to be something you're not and to be a pretender. Like just be you. Like, and being you doesn't mean you can't learn and evolve and change, right? But be whoever your true you is. I think it's funny when we're a kid, we're completely our true you. And yes, you can learn things and evolve, but you're still your true you, right? And then life hurts you, beats you up, whatever, and we start to like think we got to be something different than what we were when we were a kid. And I think it's funny how much when you get older, you start being like, man, I was just fine being who I was then. Like I didn't need to do all this bullshit and put on these masks and be phony and shit. I could have just been myself this whole time. I wasted a lot of energy. Well, tell her I very much appreciate that. I think that's awesome that she's making me something. Those pants are amazing. Yeah, well, and I think that's a lot of why the horror community is such a strong, like, awesome community. It's because so many of us, you know, come from trauma. Like we're birthed in trauma. Yeah, a lot of YouTubers perform, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because if you meet them in person, they're different than what you see on the channel, but they're not trying to be phony. They're just performing. Like when they're, you know, it's just their performance. It's kind of like when I was in music and on stage. I was a very different person on stage than I was if you met me after the show was over. But when I started my channel, I decided that's not what I wanted to do. I already did the whole performing for years when I did music and even when I did physical medium art. So I'm like tired of performing. So instead I was like, I just want to be a public servant, you know? Like my channel is literally, like I've said from the beginning, it's the horror movie, it's a modern horror movie TV guide. You know, like I provide a service. And I don't think I need to put on a performance. I could just be me. I think I'm fun enough and silly enough and whatever enough to make it entertaining without, I don't know, pretending to be something else. I don't even know what I would perform as anymore anyway. But it always trips me out when people are like talking shit to me about being phony and performing and whatever, and I'm like, you have no idea. Like like I am not like, this is literally how I dress all the time. This is literally the jewelry I wear. I wore this exact outfit to go to In-N-Out Burger today for lunch. But, you know, like I don't know. Thank you so much, Tiffany. Yeah, that's rough, man. I haven't had that many surgeries. I don't know exactly how many I've had. I've had quite a few on this hand, but they want to do a lot more. But I don't do well with surgeries. Like I don't heal well. Every surgery I've had has had complications. So like this hand is getting so bad. Like that's the most I can bend this finger, and it hurts so bad to even do that. They want to do a bunch of surgeries on this hand, but I don't know. I probably have no other choice. But last time I had hand surgery, I almost lost my right hand, and it came out way worse than it did before the surgery. So like, just because of my diabetes, I don't heal for shit. It's also why I don't really get tattoos anymore. Although I do really need another tattoo. Like, I'm hoping I could find someone locally that will do some ink on me, like not for free, but at a good deal, and then I'll promote them on the channel. It's like, I don't care about being free, but I just can't afford to spend a ton of money on a tattoo. But I want to finally get that horror collage on my finished on my left, or on my right calf, the one I got started like 30 years ago, or not 30 years ago, but like 20 years ago. But I start itching for more tattoos every, like, I don't know, the longest I can go is a couple years, like 2 years or whatever, I think is the longest before I start really itching. And be like, man, I need to get something new. Like, even if it's just a little bit added on or something touched up, like just a little something. Because I definitely want to get some shit fixed on this arm. This arm is just like a mess. Man, it's crazy how cool the weather is here. Like, normally we're already in the hundreds. It's in the high 90s, low hundreds here by June. And it's amazing. The weather is like the most beautiful weather. Like, you would swear we're in SoCal. Like, the high has been like 78, 79, 80 for the last like couple weeks. It's gonna finally start warming up though in like a week or so, but it's crazy though. Like, we never have this kind of weather. I just wish it would stay this way, because the only thing I really hate about Sacramento is the heat. Thank you, Cal. Oh wow, Cammy Q, thank you. You're amazing. You're my go-to. Come back. You're my go-to for horror movie recs. Your pics are dope and love your energy. Well, thank you so much for your support. It's my pleasure, and it's people like you to keep me going. And even when I get a little burned out, like I'm feeling pretty burned out this week, but it's stuff like that. You know, it's why I really like doing this live thing now, because it helps with the burnout, because it makes me feel like because without the lives, it's almost like I'm just making these videos and they're going out into the ether, you know? But when I have lives like this, it's like I can talk to you and get to know you guys, and it actually feels like, oh, this is why I'm making these videos. These are the people that are watching these videos. And, you know, it's like the core group of you are so supportive, and it definitely helps. Because I can only go to the drive-ins so many nights a week. Like, I need to be able to just stay home and not go nuts. Well, that's the thing. It's not the channel that burns me out. Like, the only positive thing I do have, the only thing that keeps me from going insane right now is the channel. You know, you guys, and making these videos and working on them and all that. It's just, I need things to do besides the channel. You know, like, I need to have a friend or two to hang out with and go and do stuff. And like, that's why I'm coming to, you know, events like this. And like, when there's horror movies in theaters, it's a lot easier, because there's, you know, something to look forward to at least once a week to go to like one of these movies or whatever. But right now it's been dog shit. We've had what, one horror movie since Evil Dead. We've had one horror movie come out, right? Or is it, I think The Blackening is the only thing we've had since Evil Dead, right? Maybe I'm forgetting one. But either way, it's been very slim. But coming up in July, it's going to be rad, man. There's a bunch of great horror movies coming that I'm very excited about. But Shudder just dropped a couple more new movies, so I think I'm gonna start working on another Shutter list here soon. The one I'm working on currently is Netflix, and then the one I'm shooting after that, so this next Friday, a week from yesterday, you'll see a new Netflix video. And then the week after that, because I'm going to release videos on Fridays now for at least a while, because the one I dropped yesterday is already it's like already at almost 13,000 views last time I checked. Like, it's killing it. So I think Fridays YouTube is definitely showing you guys a lot more, because every time I've dropped them on Fridays in the last few months, like, they seem to always do better. So I'm just gonna try that for a while. But anyway, so next week is Netflix, and then the one after that, so the one I'm gonna start working on in like a day or two, is Hulu. So there'll be a new Hulu list, because I haven't done a Hulu one in a long time. And I have a lot of you guys asking me when I'm gonna start doing other list again, you know, like my best of zombie or witches, because witches is the next one that I'm gonna do when I do one of those. The YouTube algorithm was just killing me. They weren't promoting them, they weren't showing anybody, and each week they were doing worse and worse and worse. And so the goal was, I wanted to do, like, still do those, but I just haven't been able to pump out videos fast enough to do those as an extra, because they have to kind of be an extra thing. But my goal is once the channel pops off again a little bit, and it's due, because the way the algorithm works, it's weird. Every like 6 months or so, they give you like a boost and they push you a bunch. So next time it pops off and my videos are all of a sudden getting more play and I'm making more money from it, because I don't like to talk about the money part. I hate that there's money involved, right? But that's the truth. That's the reality, is the money part. I have to have enough money to live on. So anyway, once it pops off some and I have a little bit of money to play with, so to speak, a little bit of time, because time is money, if that makes sense. Anyway, then I'll be able to slip in a couple of those, because I really want to do those in October. So like in October, maybe do a Tubi one and maybe one other one, but then the rest of my videos for the month of October, actually probably September and October, will be that kind of, there'll be witches and, you know, best of, maybe I'll do a third werewolf one and a third vampire one, that kind of thing. So don't give up. Like, don't give up on me. I am gonna still keep doing those, because they're a lot more work to do. They're harder and a lot more work than the ones I'm doing right now, but that's the problem. There's so much work, they're so time consuming, and yet I get like half the amount of views, which means like half the amount of money. And it also, with sponsors starting to take notice now is I really got to continue to push and get as many views as possible, because that's what makes the sponsors want to sponsor the videos. So thank you, John. Yeah, so anytime you guys send me anything, I really liked the whole unboxing it on a live. So I think that's going to be the plan, is when I get packages from you guys, I'll open them up I'll do a live, and that way I can take my time and open them up and show you guys and talk about them. Because trying to put them in a video is just, it's too hard to put it in an actual video. And then I got to put it on the end of the video, where a lot of people already click off and don't see it anyway. So I think the live is much more like intimate, and we can really hang out and open the packages together and talk about stuff. Yeah, we get a lot of sunshine here, especially right now. We had a lot of rain this year, though. Like, the Sacramento weather has been so different this year than any year I can remember since probably the 90s. Like, it's insane. We had tons and tons of rain, like flooding levels of rain. And then we've had the most cool climate. Normally, we're already in the 90s by May, in the high 90s by May. You know, we're in the hundreds by June. And right now, like, it looks like we're finally going to start getting those, but I mean, I love it, but it's just super weird. Do you think Rotten Tomatoes is ruining people's enjoyment of films with their own? I don't think it's Rotten Tomatoes that's ruining people's enjoyment of films. I think it's just social media in general. Like, a lot of people, we all kind of feel like our opinions matter more now because we have an audience. Like, everybody, no matter who you are, has, like at least a little circle, if it's friends or family or whatever. And so it gives us all this little feeling of importance, and like we have an opinion and we want to share it. And so everybody becomes like opinionated, and in turn everybody becomes like a critic. But that's kind of, I think it's because we've been kind of programmed sort of by the media or whatever that we watch, like that this is the way you critique movies, that you got to be like critical, right? Because we grew up watching Siskel and Ebert and whatever, right? I just think that you can do it more like how I do it, where, and I'm not saying I'm hitting all be all, and like, I'm just saying, like, I think you can talk about movies and critique them to an extent without ruining it and still enjoying it. So that's kind of what I'm trying to show people, and just try to do myself. But I get a lot of people that talk shit about how I review, because they're like, you like everything, and it's like, but I just don't feel the need to shit on everything. I'd rather find the qualities, because like, I could look at this mural back here, right? Like, there are art critics out there that would look at this mural and pick it apart and find all these flaws and everything. And it's like, why? I'd much rather look at it and just be like, that is gorgeous, that's amazing, and just see the qualities in it and the beauty in it, and not care if it's not quote unquote perfect. But I've always been the guy who, when my like tattoo artist would mess up on me or whatever, I would always be the guy that's like, a tattoo is a scar. Like, it is made up of flaws. The things that make us unique and make us who we are literally is our flaws. If we all were exactly the same, like quote unquote perfect, then we would all be exactly the same. We would all be like a clone, so to speak. There wouldn't be any individuality or uniqueness. So hating on flaws and hating on imperfections or whatever is silly to me. It's like, that's not how the rest of nature works. It's only a people thing. So I'd rather try to find the qualities and things that are enjoyable and entertaining about a movie. Even if it's a movie like The Blackening that I didn't fully like connect with, I still loved the humor of it. I still thought it was funny as fuck. I just didn't think it was like really a horror movie, and it wasn't scary, and I wish they had leaned a little bit more into the horror element, but it still was an extremely funny movie, and I had a great time with it. It's like, I think you can say things that you wish were a little different in this and that without always being negative. I don't know if that makes sense, but because I think it's just kind of a tone thing. Yeah, I mean, you can talk about a movie and critique it, so to speak, without not like, and still enjoy it. Like, it feels like people feel like in order to critique a movie, they can't enjoy it. They have to like pick it apart and find every little thing with it. No, I've always thought Warhammer looked so fun, but I've always been poor as shit. So I never got to, grow up playing much of anything. I was always lonely because I didn't go to school, so I never really had friends, and I was always super fucking poor. And so like the combination of those two things, I never got to do any of that shit. The closest thing I ever got to doing was when I was a teenager. I got into playing Risk. It was me and my poor ass friends found an old busted up Risk board, and so we played that shit to death. Like, we would go to this coffee shop, and for 99 cents you could get a coffee with free refills. And so we would literally sit there. This is when I was like 15, 16, something like that. 16, 17. And we would sit there and just play Risk all fucking night until the coffee shop would kick us out. But it was so rad because like this actually was partly how I got into music, because guitar players would show up with their acoustic guitars and just play guitar because it was it was the best way to get chicks. And so those of us that could sing would just start singing along with the guitar player, because we were like, fuck, dude, we don't play guitar, but we want the girls too. So we would sing. And then you'd get guys that were drummers, you know, percussionists, and they would get cups and things to tap on and rap on, and with their hands on the tops of the tables and whatever, and make little beats. And it's where I started doing some hip hop stuff, like very rudimentary hip hop. It was never like good at rap hip hop, but it helped me to learn rhythm, though. That worked a lot when I got into metal vocals, because the way metal vocals work is almost exactly the same as hip hop melodies, hip hop rhythm and beats, and like it's basically the exact same thing. A lot of people don't realize like we use a lot of the same you know, beats. Wow, now look at the line. Look at that. It's wrapped all the way around the side now. So it starts way over there, and wraps all the way around to there. Man, I wonder if it's sold out. I should probably go get in line.
What time is it? 8:10. Oh yeah, I'll let them in.
Watch, now I'm getting in line, they're gonna be like, there's no more room, you're not allowed in. Wow, look at this sun. Ugh, it's blinding me. Man, look at the cars parking way down there. I'm glad I got here when I did, or parking would be even worse.
That is a beautiful shade on your nails.
Thank you. Yeah, I always try to go with something like when the more sad I feel, the more bright I go. You know, something that, and I was like really not feeling it, and so I needed something bright to cheer me up that day. Yeah, metal and hip hop definitely go hand in hand. That's what I'm talking about. Like the rhythms and the vocal patterns are identical. Like you have no idea how many hip hop artists and metal vocalists, if you get them to be honest with you, tell you that they like basically stole, because you can get away with it because people don't realize. Like you could still, you know, Eminem rhythm or whoever rhythm and do it in a metal way, nobody's gonna notice, and vice versa. Like, I'm trying to remember who it was, but there was a hip hop rapper who said he took a bunch of stuff from Max Cavalera, the singer of Sepultura, and I also thought that was really cool. I can't remember who it was though. Yeah, I just like music. It doesn't even matter what kind. I enjoy and appreciate pretty much all kinds of music. The first horror movie, I was like 16, 17, I think it was. I mean, I'd seen some stuff, like, I don't remember it, but like my sister said I saw, actually I gotta go because I gotta check in my ticket. So, all right, I gotta end this, guys. I will let you guys know how things are and whatnot.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
He stays here. You get the ticket. Are you checked in?
No.